is back. This team is tied for first place after consecutive November wins over Minnesota, Chicago, and San Francisco. It's been 17 years since Green Bay won their division title. Is it their time once again? Which direction are the Tampa Bay Bucs going? After losing 5 in a row, they came back to beat the Chicago Bears by a single point. And then last week, their defense bought enough time for Vinny Testaverde to throw 2 touchdown passes. And another last-minute 1-point win. The Bucs remain in the division race. Three years ago, the Heisman and the hype went to a #1 pick named Testaverde, but a little-known 10th-round pick from that draft is now getting all the attention. From cool and windy Tampa, Florida, it's the Battle of the Bays as the Green Bay Packers are in town to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Things are tight atop the NFC Central Division. Green Bay selling playoff tickets for the first time since 1982, tied with Minnesota for the lead. Chicago a game back, and Tampa Bay 2 back in the standings with the remaining weeks of the season before us. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie along with the coach, Hank Stram. We welcome you to Tampa Stadium here in Tampa, Florida. And, you know, these two teams, Henry, have played some very close games against each other. And, in fact, they've played close games in general. Of the 24 games they've played this year, 15 of those games have been decided by 4 or fewer points. Does that mean we're going to have a close game this afternoon?
Steve, you forget about all the games that have been played in the past. It will have no significance whatsoever in what happens here. This could be a close game, but it could be a turnover game. And if that takes place, whether we're going to see a lot of points.
Well, one thing about it, it is a must-win game for both teams. If you want to look at it that way, Hank, it's almost like a playoff game. Green Bay must win all their remaining games in order to even have a slight hope of a playoff spot, and Tampa Bay can't afford another loss. Because it is a one-game-at-a-time type of thing, what are going to be the keys today?
I think the important thing today, Steve, is going to be execution. I think you got to be able to execute extremely well. You can't make silly mistakes. You can't play in a shorter field or a longer field than the opposition. And number 2, I think turnovers are going to be a very important key in this contest this afternoon, especially with the way the wind is blowing here this afternoon. It could be a very strong factor in the kicking game, and that can make the difference.
And that wind will be a factor. Tampa Bay, of course, has had great success against the Green Bay Packers, winning the last 4 meetings, and the last 3 of those 4 have been very, very close games. The wind conditions a little bit cooler than one might expect. There is a wind chill factor, I think, even in evidence, as the wind is gusting up to 20 miles an hour. Green Bay has won the toss, and they have elected to take the ball. And so Donald Igwebuike will be kicking off with the wind to his back. Vince Workman and Carl Bland are back for the Pack. Workman takes it at about the 7. Getting outside, but run out of bounds by Sherman Colcroft on the far sideline. Don Majkowski, who is having a superb year, coming on. And, of course, these two teams met way back in the beginning of the season. Majkowski, the magic man, has pulled off some late-game magic to keep the Bucs, or rather the Pack, in contention at 7-5. First and 10, Green Bay at their 23. A one-back set with 3 wide receivers. And it's Fullwood. And he gets a couple to the 25, and that's it. Rutgers Moran Bush, who was expected maybe not to start, but is in there. Hallstrom would have played center if Bush had not. Weingrad, who's keeping the tackle Tony Mandarich out of the lineup, and Clint Didier, the tight end. Woodside and Fullwood, the running backs. Matthews is starting at wide receiver, along with Sterling Sharp, who's having a great year. Fontenot and Query will be coming off the bench on 3rd down and long yardage situations. Fullwood with a gain of 3, so it's 2nd down and 7 at the 26. Woodside breaks one tackle to the 32. before he's knocked down there. Defensively for Tampa Bay, all three of their front three players are second-year players, with Davis, Jarvis, and Goff, whom they call Pig. Murphy, Marv, Randall, and Moss with a little more experience, the four linebackers, and a lot of experience in the secondary, but not nearly as much as Green Bay has. Reynolds, Jones, and then Hamilton and Harris are starting at the safeties. Futrell and Elder will be coming off the bench. Odie Harris starting in place of Mark Robinson at strong safety. Fullwood cutting it back and getting to the 35, and he has the first down. Kevin Murphy and Eugene Marv on the stop. Lindy Infante in his second year and done some kind of job, Henry.
Well, he's done a terrific job, and I talked to him before the game about the wind, and I said, if you win the toss, will you receive? He said, I sure will. We want the ball, which is surprising because the wind could be a factor.
On the other side of the field, Ray Perkins now in his third season here at Tampa Bay. Packers 1st and 10 at their 35. Again, the one-back set. Mikowski's first pass. It almost intercepted. It was intended for Sterling Sharp. Winston Moss stepped right in front of Sharp and almost had it.
Here we see it. He's cutting to the inside, and the anticipation by the defensive back was excellent. Really, Winston Moss, number 58, should have intercepted that pass.
Since he did not, it'll bring up 2nd down and 10, still at the 35. Fontenot flexes out wide to the right. Out of the backfield, Woodside, or Fullwood it is. Fullwood bumped out of bounds at about the 47. Rod Jones pushed him out, a gain of 12, and another Green Bay first down.
And what happened on the play, the linebacker was blitzing, and the back was Fullwood was the hot receiver. They dumped the ball out there perfectly and just let him run.
It was interesting, Hank, talking to Lindy Infante last night about all the different routes and options and things that are in his system, which I guess on the surface looks complicated, but really isn't.
You know, it looks complicated, and I guarantee you it is complicated.
First down. Good protection. Complete to Herman Fontenot, who's at the 49 of Tampa Bay, covered by Eugene Marv.
Mikowski's pass was complete to Fontenot. The tackle was made by Eugene Marv.
Watch the key here. Watch the pass protection by the offensive line. They really do a terrific job. And as a result, Mikowski's got to, look at it, stands in the pocket, steps, throws the ball right over the middle area to Fontenot. And it's a nice play because, again, he has plenty of time to throw the ball.
Now an I formation in the backfield on 2nd down. Fontenot, no gain, and maybe even a loss of a half a yard. Again, it was Eugene Marv who brought him down after he broke one tackle in the backfield.
And this is what they call their tough defense, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody is in the gap, man in the nose, a man in the gap between the guards, and as a result, the worst place in the world to run against that defense is the play they ran. Too many folks in the middle.
So it's 3rd down and 6. This will be the 7th play of the opening drive of the ball game. Nickel packages in for both teams. 4 wide receivers for Green Bay from the shotgun. Complete over the middle to Jeff Query. Query, who has excellent speed, down to the 31 of Tampa before Harry Hamilton can drag him down. And Hank, they call him White Lightning. A gain of 18 for the rookie Jeff Query.
They're double zone on the outside receivers, meaning that the middle is going to be wide open. And here again, look at the time he has to throw the ball. the middle was the area that he had to throw the ball in because of the coverage. And Query goes down to the right sideline and is finally knocked out of bounds. But a well-executed play. We talked about execution. That's perfect execution.
And the Packers have been executing well as they have driven now to the 30 of Tampa. Fullwood gets away in the backfield and gets inside the 30 to about the 27. Reuben Mays on the tackle. Kurt Jarvis looked like he was going to have him for no gain, but he got away from Kurt.
And the nice thing about running from the I formation, you have 2 yards or 2.5 yards of extra depth, and as a result you can take advantage of an over pursuing defense like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You saw that Philadelphia has scored first and leads the New York Giants 7-0 in the first quarter of that big one in the NFC's Eastern Division. Here, no score in the first. Second down. Sterling Sharp has it and steps out of bounds at the 14. Rod Jones with the coverage, a 13-yard gain.
Sterling Sharp now, number 84, on Jones. He tries to get a bump, but in the process lost him, and he just breaks to the outside, and he's open. And that's what happens when you try to bump and run, try to bump the receiver. If you miss him, you're out of business. There's no way you could recover and make that kind of a play.
Sterling Sharp having just an outstanding year. That was his 70th catch of the year. He's over 1,000 yards. And Green Bay eating up nearly 6 minutes of time on this drive. Fullwood banging straight ahead, grabbed into the line by Robert Goff. A short gain down to about the 11.
And that's a key breaker. That time it looked like the right halfback or the running back was going to go to the right because he was way ahead of the fullback, but they broke the tendency and broke the key by sending him away from that back, but they recovered nicely and made a good recovery on the play.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 as Fullwood gained 3.
2nd and 7.
Packers could get a first down by getting to the 3-yard line. Again, the one-back set. Mikowski to pass. Penalty flag goes down and stops play. Illegal procedure.
Number 65, 5 yards, 2nd down.
Referee Fred Wyatt marking the ball back. Blair Bush, the center, apparently the guilty party.
And I talked to Bush before the game on the field. There was a question as to whether or not he was going to be able to play or not. He said, I'm going to play. I've got a little problem with my Achilles. It's a little sore and tender, but I'm going to play.
From the 16 on 2nd and 12. Mikowski completes it again to Sharp. And Sharp down to around the 5 before he's run out of bounds. Rod Jones again, a gain of 11. And it'll be 3rd and about 1.5 yards to go.
Here this time Sharp is running against Jones again. This time he's off. The last time he was in a bump and run. He goes down there and kind of cruises and breaks to the outside. Jones has to make the open field tackle, but there was too much of a cushion on the play. In other words, there's too much room for the receiver to run. As a result, it was complete and another nice game.
Sterling Sharp, who says he likes to get the ball quick so he can use his moves. Now Billy Ard, 67, is in there as a tackle eligible, and an I formation and a pitch to Fullwood. Fullwood down near the 3 or 4. Harry Hamilton and Eugene Marr get him there, and he may have enough for a first down. It's going to be very close. They're going to have to bring the chains all the way across the field, and you could see Fullwood as he went down, Hank, reach out with that ball, trying to be sure that he got it ahead of the marker. Whether or not the officials give it to you is another story.
But at least you have to try.
That's right.
You know, you never know how they're going to call it. You can't worry about officiating the game. You just have to do what you think is best to help your team move the chains.
And they're short by a couple of inches. Let's take a look again at Fullwood's run and the effort to get that first down.
And look at the pursuit. Look at Marv coming over there to make the play. Hamilton comes up to make the play. Look at all the white shirts coming over to get a hit. Randall, number 4054, is late.
They use the change to spot the ball. And the Packers on 4th down have had great success this year. Ray Perkins' team has yet to touch the football. This is the 14th play of the drive.
And I like to see this. I like to see him go for the touchdown or the first down here.
Fullwood, he won't make it. Winston Moss and Eugene Marv get him for a loss.
Number 1, Fullwood, number 21, did not slam in there aggressively enough. I don't think he didn't hit it tough enough. There's a little indecision in that situation. You know, you've got to get the first down. You got to slam it in there with your shoulders square. Somehow, some way, get the yardage. He didn't get it done.
7:36 to go in the first, and still no score. Bay gets a chance on offense after Green Bay ate up the first half of the first quarter as Testaverde leads him up. He has been either hot or cold, not much in the way of lukewarm as far as Vinny is concerned. 1st and 10 from just inside their own 5. Sylvester Stamps starting at tailback, gets a couple, and that's all. Sylvester getting a start because of the injury to Lars Tate. Gruber, McHale, Grimes, Cooper, Taylor, and Hall, the tight end up front. In the backfield, it's William Howard at fullback. Stamps in place of Lars Tate. Carrier and Hill, excellent wide receivers. The rookie Peebles and Willie Drury coming off the bench. Stamps got 3 at 2nd down and 7. One back set for Tampa Bay, and it's William Howard who has the pitch. To about the 12. Scott Stephen, who's starting in place of John Anderson, made the hit. Blaze winner Rob Nelson and Robert Brown, the 3 front down linemen for Green Bay. Stephen in there in place of John Anderson, a 12-year veteran who's injured. Noble, Holland, and Harris is active and good as it gets. Lee, Brown, Stills, and Murphy. And then Tiger Green and Van Jakes will come in on a nickel package. You saw on the NFL Today, prior to the game, a fine feature on Tim Harris of the Green Bay Packers. Pitch to Stamps, trying to get outside. Right there is Mark Lee, who won't let him do it.
And Mark Lee did a good job of forcing on the play, and I talked to him before the game because there was some speculation that he might not play in this game, but he said, I'm hurting a little bit. I've got to pull, but I'm going to play as long as I can play. And he came up there and did a great job on the force that last time they ran the ball.
Here's 22. Might have got a hold of the face mask.
If he didn't, that's a scoop.
Maybe he got his finger stuck in the ear hole.
Yes, he got it stuck in there, and luckily he wasn't called.
Chris Moore, who played for Ray Perkins at Alabama, punts it out of there with the win. Jeff Query takes it at about the 44. And Query can't get outside. Broderick Thomas, the number 1 pick, runs him out of bounds. A penalty flag is down back at the original line of scrimmage. However, Ron Pitts was trying to get a block on Thomas, and he couldn't. It was a 48-yard punt, but it may come back.
Yep.
Apparently not. No score. Green Bay with excellent field position, and they get the ball back. Every year, their Packer backers have their reunion, and many of them come from Green Bay when Green Bay plays here at Tampa Bay. this year by far the biggest turnout. They had polka music. They had a bratwurst barbecue. They have in excess of 2,600 fans here.
I wish I could get a closer look. There might be some of my pals from Gary, Indiana in that picture.
I think you and I might fit right in there, Henry. Green Bay 1st and 10 at midfield. No score. Mikowski to Sharp with a one-handed grab inside the 35. Harry Hamilton and Rod Jones bring him down. A gain of 16. Sharp's 3rd catch for 40 yards.
And the impressive thing really is the play action fake. He holds the linebacker. Sharp goes right into the dead area between the corner and the linebackers, and in front of the safety. The ball's right on the money, and it's thrown right at the numbers, exactly where you have to throw it when you throw it in the middle.
Don Mikowski has now completed 6 straight. Green Bay right back at it. 1st and 10 at the Tampa Bay 34. Fullwood the fake. Mikowski under pressure throws it away. No flag. So let's go to Brent Musburger on the NFL Today in New York for an update.
Well, Steve, Buddy Ryan made like Hank Stram in the old days. Won the flip, elected to go on defense with the win, forced the fumble. This is the Eagles' touchdown against the Giants. Frizzell will lateral it, and Waters in for the score. Hey, Hank, I love that little story about the polka, man. They miss you back in the Midwest. You got a good two-step.
I know they do. Don't you know they do? You have a lot of fans.
Oh, listen, are you kidding? I spend a lot of time there during the off season whenever I can. My mother and sister still live there, and all the great friends at the P&A Silver Bells in Gary, Indiana. Yes, sir.
They're probably watching right now.
We'll have a little usasa there this afternoon.
They had one outside the ballpark this morning. Mikowski under pressure again, throws it away, and a flag goes down. Looked like number 58 Winston Moss might have jumped to offsides for Tampa Bay. He was drawn offsides apparently by Alan Weingrad.
Weingrad now is the right tackle. Yeah, he cannot move. Once he's in a three-point stance, he cannot move. And I think he was trying to anticipate the count, and in the process left prematurely and was penalized on the play. Good call on the part of the official.
So it's still 2nd down, but now it's 2nd and 15 at the 39. Good protection. Mikowski fires an incomplete intended for Aubrey Matthews. Harry Hamilton was right on him, but the pass was too tall.
Here again, you know, the problem with this thing really is the pass protection is they got no rush whatsoever. Look at the linebacker going out on the zone to protect into the hook area. He curls to the inside, but the ball was thrown way up above. Had it been thrown at the numbers, it would have been a completed forward pass.
Matthews flanked out wide to the right again. 3rd down and 15. Green Bay so far today has converted 2 of their 3 3rd down opportunities. Incomplete. Sterling Sharp, the intended receiver. Rod Jones again with the coverage. And the Packers will kick it away on 4th and 15.
Now that's the kind of thing you can't have happen in this kind of a game. The Packers wound up with good field position, and they wind up having to punt. They don't even get a chance to kick a field goal. You have to take advantage of field position when you have the opportunity. They didn't on that last series.
And they started at the 50-yard line. So Don Bracken is on, averaging almost 42 yards a pop, and Willie Drury, who's averaging about 8 yards per return, is back. He may or may not get a chance to return this one, as Bracken will be punting into the wind. And Bracken hanging it high. It bounces at the 2, but it's going to go in the end zone. Packers tried to tip it back. It's a 39-yard punt with no return. 3:31 left to go in the first quarter. Still no score here in Tampa. Here's the playoff picture. If the season were to be over right now, this is what would happen. The Giants, Vikings, and 49ers would be in by winning divisions, and then the Eagles and the Rams would be the wild card teams. Consequently, the Green Bay Packers would be shut out. And even if the Packers win all of their remaining games, they may not make it into the playoffs.
And they have to sell the idea that somebody's going to help them, and that's the approach they have to take.
Tampa Bay 1st and 10. Testaverde back to throw. Incomplete and almost intercepted. It is intercepted. Picked off by Brian Noble. Noble's second interception of the year.
Now this is a play action fake. And they fake to Stamps. He hooks in the middle. The area is wide open. The ball is tipped. Bounces off the shoulder pads of the halfback, Stamps, and is intercepted by Noble.
And that's a catchable ball, Hank.
Well, it could have been. That's right. But I think what happened, the deflection, threw the course of the ball off a little bit, and he just didn't concentrate on it well enough to catch it.
Woodside running up inside and getting about to the 22, maybe the 21. For a short game, tripped up by Kurt Jarvis, a nose tackle, Reuben Davis and Irwin Randall. So it's a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8, and the Packers certainly have had the best of the field position. After starting at their own 23 and driving inside the 5 of Tampa Bay, they started at the 50, and then they start this drive inside the 25 of Tampa Bay. Mikowski gets rid of it over the middle of Sharp, who breaks away. Sterling Sharp will score. Touchdown, Green Bay. Sharp got away from Reynolds and Marv.
And here again, you throw enough stuff up against the wall, something's going to stick. And here it is, the 3rd time. Missed tackles. And he goes all the way in for the touchdown. But a good read on the part of Mikowski on the play. The linebackers blitzing on the outside. There you see Hamilton missing the play. Or Ricky Reynolds it is, I'm sorry. Ricky Reynolds misses the tackle.
The extra point is good. And with 2:40 left to play in the first quarter, the Packers lead it 7-0. Green Bay controlled the football for over 7 minutes of the first half of the first quarter, didn't score. Then they get it for the 3rd time and take it in after the turnover in only 45 seconds. But they didn't have near as far to go. So it's 7-0 Green Bay. Chris Jackie kicking off, and a squibber down inside the 10, fumbled around. Donnie Elder finally gets the handle on it and gets only about to the 12. And Tampa Bay's problems continue.
Donnie Elder returns for the 12-yard.
Let's take another look at Mikowski's 21-yard touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp.
Now there's a blitz. There's a blitz on the play. Outside blitz. Winston Moss, man-for-man coverage on with Ricky on the corner, number 29, and he doesn't make the tackle when he has the opportunity. He goes all the way in for the touchdown.
And Mikowski now with 15 consecutive games in which he has thrown a touchdown pass. And that puts him in some rather elite territory with players of a bygone era. Testaverde looking to throw on 1st down, completes it to William Howard. Johnny Holland hits him right away. But Howard gets up to about the 17.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
It'll be 2nd down and 5. Rams all over Dallas early. Howard again and nowhere to go. Tim Harris right in the backfield makes the tackle. We're at Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. And a big crowd on hand. The game was not sold out ahead of time, and it's not completely sold out, but there are Plenty of Packer backers here as they try to keep their playoff hopes alive, and it's been all Green Bay so far, Hank.
Well, field position, we talked about early in the game, you know, the field position aspect of it is going to be very important, and Tampa hasn't had good field position at all so far in this game.
And they now have a 3rd and 7 on their own 15. Testaverde has time and completes it to the tight end, Hill. And he's dragged down after he gets the first down at about the 25 by Tiger Green.
You know, that time they were in a double zone again, and the guy you want to hit is the tight end. And that's exactly where they go. He line up on the left side, on the right side of your screen. Good protection. He goes to the outside and makes the catch, and it picks up the necessary yardage for the first down. A good read by Testaverde and a good pattern by the tight end Hall.
And I think I called Ron Hall Hill, but it was Ron Hall, the tight end. 1st and 10 at the 26. Again, good protection. Incomplete. Flag down. We'll have an interference call. Ken Stills and Dave Brown putting the sandwich on a little early.
Pass interference, number 32, first down.
And it's Dave Brown who's called for the infraction.
They put him in a nutcracker there that time and gave him a double squeeze. There we see the ball coming in between, and look at the backside. Look at Brown. Give him a little shove in the back. A little massage in the back here. Here it is right here. It's very obvious. Pass interference on the play, and Steele comes in from the front side.
Dave Brown now in his 15th year. William Howard with nowhere to go. Brian Noble right there waiting for him in the hole. As the clock runs down to the end of the first quarter here in Tampa, Packers have had the ball in the field position, and they have the lead 7-0. Lots of fun in the Florida sun.
See the guy dump over backwards?
That's great.
It looked like you piloting that deal. That looked like something you do, Steve, old pal.
It was because I was on the back. It was all that weight.
But you were leaning back in the chair. That's what happened in the driver's seat.
Rotated.
The whole thing went back.
Speaking of weight, here's a 300-pounder, Tony Mandarin. 2nd down, 9. Did he get it? No. One official says yes, one says no. Is it complete or not? Now the official who said it was incomplete overruled. Bill Carollo, the side judge, came running in after the play and said no, the ball hit the ground. So the apparent completion to Ron Hall is incomplete.
Here's a replay of it. Hall diving for the ball. You can't tell really conclusively from the angle we see it, but evidently it was incomplete. And I talked to Hall before the game, and I said, listen, you're smiling. I get the impression you think you're going to catch a lot of balls this afternoon. They're playing a lot of zone. He said, yeah. He said, I'm healthy for the first time, and I ought to do a lot of business this afternoon.
3rd down and 9 as Hall goes out, and the nickel packages are in, and Testaverde goes long, completing it. Bruce Hall at the 30. Hill's first catch is for 24 yards.
And this is the play he loves to throw. This is a seam pattern to the slot man. They're playing a zone defense. The seam right between the numbers and the hash mark. There it is. Look at that. Right on the numbers. Wide open. This is what he loves to throw. He has good size is 6'5", talking about Testaverde. Throws over the linebacker and is beautifully thrown in the completed pass.
Bruce Hill out of Arizona State. 1st and 10. Complete and dropped. William Harris, the tight end, wide open over the middle. Took his eyes off it and I guess tried to run before he caught it. 2nd and 10. Still at the 30-yard line of Green Bay. This will be the 8th play of this drive for Tampa Bay.
And the obvious thing again, Testaverde has no pressure on him whatsoever, no pass rush at all by the Green Bay Packers.
Draw play to Stamps. Short yardage, a gain of about 3 down to the 27. Let's go back to New York and Brent Musburger for an update on that Philadelphia-New York game.
Well, Steve, this is how the Giants got on the scoreboard. Phil Simms out of the shotgun. Real good protection this time. He steps up. He's got Mark Ingram, who came out of the slot. 41-yard touchdown. Eagles now with possession and trying to drive back. They're up 14-7. Back to Steve.
Thanks, Brent. That game has only just begun, I have a feeling, Hank. That's a war.
Yeah, you're right. It's in the first quarter.
We're in the early part of the second quarter, and it's 3rd and 7. Testaverde now gets pressure and gets sacked at the 32. Tim Harris is there along with Mark Hall. Harris now with 15+ sacks on the year.
And one thing about Harris, you have to make sure you know where he is. See, this time he's lined up on the left side. Sometimes he's lined up on the right side. Sometimes between the guard and the tackle, and Taylor stands right in front of him. He pushes Taylor, number 72, to the side, goes to the inside and makes the tackle. A great play by Timmy Harris.
So a field goal attempt of 49 yards. Donald Igwebuike will attempt it into the wind. And it's very low, but it makes it. Igwebuike with a line drive knuckleball.
You got to have a lot of power on the ball when you can kick a knuckleball into the wind like that and it goes through there for the 3 points.
7-3 Green Bay. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram back with you at Tampa Stadium. And Hank, you talked about it. Field position and turnovers. Green Bay's been able to capitalize on field position and get the turnover to lead 7-3 at this point. 12:35 left to go, and a knuckleball field goal by Igwebuike, and that's the only scoring they've been able to muster.
He kicked kicked that ball like he thought he was in a YMCA. It was very low, but luckily he got it through there, and that's the only thing that really matters. He got 3.
And Igwebuike, who's been criticized for his kickoffs, gets it down inside the 5. Vince Workman bringing it back and getting close to the 20 before he's knocked down. Sherman Cocroft making the tackle. Let's go back and look at Igwebuike's line drive knuckleball.
See, anybody can kick it the regular way. It really takes a lot of talent to kick a knuckleball like this and get it through. Look at it go through with a lot of room to spare, at least an inch.
He had plenty of distance. It was the height he was worried about. The reaction of both Igwebuike and Perkins is great. Chris Moore, the putter who does the holding, and Donald says, I can't believe that. 1st and 10, Green Bay, just inside their 20. Play action. Makowski incomplete, intended for Sharp, who gets blasted, but after the ball had gone by. Irvin Randall gave him a little shot. 2nd down 10.
Be sure to pick up this week's issue of Game Day Magazine.
Now we see the flight of the ball in the quarterback. Watch what happens, however, once he throws the ball and once he gets the hit. Give him a good shot. A shot on Sterling coming into the inside area.
Just a little reminder that that territory belongs to somebody else.
Yeah, the defensive back in that particular case.
Makowski chased out. And incomplete. Dropped by Matthews, who had it right in the belly and lost it. They would have been short of the 1st down, but it'll bring up now 3rd down and 10.
He has a great capacity, Makowski does, to escape from the pocket. He usually, however, will try to escape to his right. He throws extremely well running. Look at the ball. You can't throw it any better than that. But what happened, he didn't catch it in his hands. It hit his shoulder pads and bounced out of there, and that's why he didn't make the reception.
Not totally his fault, but Mikowski has only completed one of his last 6 after hitting 6 in a row. Shotgun on 3rd and 10, 4 wide receivers. Almost intercepted by Ricky Reynolds. Mikowski waiting till the last minute.
Here we see Mikowski escaping to the outside, and rather than take a loss, he gets rid of the ball across his body, throws it inside, and Ricky Reynolds, number 29, should have had the interception. It was a very dangerous pass, one that he very rarely throws. Really, Mikowski, he usually has great judgment.
So Don Bracken on to punt again, and Willie Drury, number 87, back deep for Tampa Bay at about his own 40. Bracken with no pressure shanks it badly, and it goes out of bounds at about the Green Bay 39. Only a 19-yard punt, so the field position is turned, and Tampa Bay will now enjoy good field position when we return. The kicking game has been one of the strengths of Green Bay this year, but Bracken that time just missed it badly for a 20-yarder.
Well, with the wind blowing like it is, you better bend over and you better drop it as low to your foot as you possibly can, or else that'll happen to you.
So Tampa Bay, 1st and 10, inside the Green Bay 40. Green Bay leading 7-3 here in the second quarter. Testaverde, good protection, complete to William Howard. Brian Noble hits him immediately. The gain will be about 5 to about the 39.
You know, both of these teams play exactly the same on defense. They're both zone defensive teams, and as a result, from an offensive viewpoint, if you're going to throw against a zone, you're going to have to take the skateboard. You can't take the jet. You got to travel slow and be patient, and that's what both teams are trying to do.
Underneath, underneath, underneath. That actually wasn't a gain of 5. No gain on the play. Still at the 39, 2nd and 10. Stamps in motion. Incomplete. Bruce Hill had it hit his hands. That's the second time that Hill has failed to hold on.
You know, and Testaverde throws that was a slant pattern against the zone again. He put it right where it had to be thrown, but it was incomplete. That's what he likes to throw best, along with the seam pattern that he threw earlier for the big gain that put him in an opportunity to kick the field goal. He loves to throw those patterns.
Well, he better throw another one because it's 3rd down and 10. And again, incomplete. Intended for Mark Carrier, and Dave Brown was right there. So Tampa Bay will have to punt it away.
Here we see Carrier coming off the ball against Brown. Brown is backpedaling. He makes his move, but he doesn't give him much of a cushion, anticipates the flight of the ball, has one hand on his back, which should have been pass interference. The other one was up on top, knocking the ball down, but the official didn't see the hand in the back.
Well, when you've been in the league as long as Brown has, his 15th year, and look where he stands among all-time interceptors, you can get away with things like that. Well, flags all over the place as the play is stopped on the punt, and there was a 1.5 of preliminary movement.
False start, number 56.
So it's against Tampa Bay. At least that's the direction he pointed. Sam Ano, who is really the leader of Tampa Bay's special teams, moved too soon. That's the first penalty on the Bucs.
And that's hard to do when you're the center.
Yeah.
If you're offside when you got the ball in your hand, you got a problem.
That's right. Well, you can really draw some other people offside, though.
But nobody did. Nobody jumped.
Chris Moore will hit it from about his 45. Jeff Query immediately calling for the fair catch. And again, a chance, but no. into the end zone for the touchback. A 44-yard punt. Well, it may be the greatest rivalry in all of college sports, and certainly it's been around as long as any of them. Army-Navy, they've played 90 times, and believe it or not, the ledger on this game is all even. Now it's time for one more battle, and you will see it, all the pageantry, all the tradition of the Army-Navy game here on CBS next Saturday on CBS. Kurt Jarvis, number 95, the nose tackle for Tampa Bay, involved in a little wager on a college game yesterday. Alabama-Auburn. We'll tell you about it. 1st and 10, Green Bay from the 20. Fullwood trying to get outside. And he gains about 3 to the 23, bumped out by Rod Jones and Broderick Thomas, who's in the game. Jarvis made a bet. He drives a 4-wheel drive truck, and he made a bet with Broderick Thomas, who just made the play, that if Alabama won the game, he'd trade and get Broderick's Mercedes, and the loser would have to wash the other guy's vehicle. And I thought it was funny, Hank, when we asked him, is it going to be a permanent trade? He said, what? Give up my truck?
Well, that's right. Of course, he probably broke out in a rash when he jumped in that Mercedes for the first time, too.
So did the Mercedes. He's a trucking boy all the way.
It had bumps all over the seat covers when he got through.
Overthrown. It almost picked off Harry Hamilton, the free safety, diving but couldn't come up with it. Philadelphia now 14-7 over the Giants.
Support your team this year with the Q105 Buccaneers decal on your car. Get your decal today.
Dallas has scored. And Detroit welcoming New Orleans to the Silverdome.
That's a surprise. This is not a surprise. Kansas City 13-zip over Miami.
3rd down and 7. Green Bay at their own 23. They lead 7-3. Mikowski avoiding pressure, complete to Fontenot, but he'll be short of the 1st down. Tackled by Sherman Coldcroft and Donnie Elder.
Bobby Futrell, the corner, was blitzing on the play, and of course he was blitzing right in his face, and Mikowski does a great job. But every time you notice, every time he escapes, he will always escape to his right.
So Bracken is on, trying to do a little better. He'd like to do at least twice as good as the one before that only went 20.
One thing you have to do, he's got to bend over a little bit more so he can get the ball closer to his foot and get a better drop. The drop is all important in this kind of a situation with the wind.
He hit that a little better, but not much, and it takes a Tampa Bay bounce. Finally kicked out of bounds on the far sideline at about the 48. Only a 26-yard punt, so the kicking game deserting Green Bay, but they still lead it by 4.
First of all, look at his left foot. It's pointed to the inside a little bit, and it should be pointed straight ahead or a little bit to the outside, and he can't drop the ball this far. He's got to lay it on his foot. Look at the drop. Look at how far it drops. Almost hits the ground before he kicks it. He came across the ball, and it goes to the left this time instead of to the right.
A little problem with overcorrection, perhaps. A 20-yarder followed by a 26-yarder as William Howard dives over the pile and picks up only a couple. Blaze Winter cut his feet out from under it. Green Bay leading Tampa Bay 7-3. We have about 9.5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. And the Bucs now enjoying the field position that Green Bay enjoyed earlier in the game with a 2nd down and 8 right at midfield.
The field position is only important if you take advantage of it, and neither team has been able to do that so far in this game.
Testaverde with a screen pass to Howard, and he's met immediately. Nobody out there to block. Mark Lee and Brian Noble run him out of bounds with a very short gain. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram here at Tampa Stadium on a cool and windy afternoon as the Green Bay Packers try to keep their faint playoff hopes alive, and Tampa Bay, not yet mathematically eliminated, tries to stay in the hunt as well. 7-3 with 9:08 to go in the 2nd. Perkins has had some frustration, but I think, Hank, you're right, and neither team taking advantage has been frustrating for both coaches.
Yeah, it's been the same, and they're both very much the same kind of teams. They're both playing very much the same offense and also the defense.
3rd down and 7. Vinny has time. Incomplete. Intended for Carrier, and Dave Brown right there.
See, the great thing about Dave Brown, he doesn't backpedal too far and doesn't give the receiver that much of a cushion. And when the ball is thrown, he's right there to make the play. A beautiful play by Dave Brown, number 32.
Testaverde has completed 5 of 11 so far.
And that's murder when you get the ball with that good a field position on the -48 and you have to kick it from about the same place. That's tough.
We've seen this happen 3 times now where they've had to kick from midfield. Chris Moore on to do the kicking. A high snap gets away from him, but a whistle stopping play. Apparently the Packers jumping too soon.
False start.
Nope.
56.
They were
5
drawn
yards,
offside,
first down.
and again it was Sam Ano doing. He must be doing something, Hank, in preparing to snap the ball that's drawing people offside.
Yeah, that's very obvious. That's what he has to be doing.
Sam says, what do you mean? I'm not doing anything.
Who, me?
He's sort of bending his knees, it looks like.
Well, he has to bend his knees to get down, number 1, and number 2, he's got to bend his knees a little bit to get power on the ball. It goes 15 yards back to the kicker.
But if he picks up the ball, that's what he can't do. This time he gets it to Moore. No penalty flag. Jeff Query takes it at about the 16. And he's back to around the 29 before he's knocked down by Donnie Elder. Well, next Saturday, watch as some of the world's top riders compete in the 1989 Mercedes Horse Jumping Championships. Next Saturday, 1:30 Eastern and 3 Pacific, right here on CBS. So the Magic Man will bring him back out. Don Mikowski and company 1st and 10 at their own 30. 29.5 if you want to be real technical. Fake reverse. Woodside still has it and has a couple of blockers and gets about 8 on 1st down out near the 38 before Urban Randall brings him down.
This is really a good play in that you fake the reverse, which holds the backside from pursuing. Watch this now. Watch. See, they got an advantage over here. Now watch number 59. See, he stops because he thinks the reverse man has the ball. He keeps it, runs to the outside, Woodside, and picks up a nice gain in the play. But it's a very good concede play.
This time Woodside's on the wing on 2nd down and 2. Fullwood stopped in the backfield. Hit right away by Kurt Jarvis and Reuben Davis.
And Jarvis is quick off the ball, and talking to Blair Bush before the game, he said, you know, I really think he's one of the very best nose guys in the league. He doesn't have great size, but he's coming all the time. He's very smart, very quick. And if you're going to be a nose man, he's about 6'2", you see. You got to have good quickness. You have to have good balance, good leverage, and you have to have short legs, a long body, and long arms.
And a lot of strength.
That's right.
Jarvis fighting right through the hold and got a hold and held on. 3rd down and 4. 4 wideouts in for Green Bay. Mikowski under pressure. A flag is down, and the ball up for grabs falls harmlessly at the 35. Usually it is holding, and it is.
Yes, when you see that flag drop in that area, it's always, most of the time, it's holding.
Holding, number 51, decline, 4th down.
Blair Bush called for holding, and John Cannon, number 78 of Tampa Bay, had the pressure on Mikowski. And let's see if Sterling Sharp got held.
Look at Sharp on the play, pushing off. And he gets tackled almost, doesn't he? Going down the field by Jones.
So the game of punts continues, and here's Bracken once again trying to hit a good one. This is much better. Willie Drury at the 20 makes a diving catch. Ron Pitts right there. A 44-yard punt with no return is significantly better. 7:04 left to go in the second quarter.
He had a lot of much better rhythm on the kick that time. Better timing.
That one punt as long as his last two put together. Testaverde and Mikowski, the two quarterbacks in this game, actually have a lot more in common than just playing in the NFL. Before they went to college, they both went to the same prep school, Fork Union in Virginia.
And I asked them about that. I'll come back to that in just a minute.
1st and 10. Wilder into the game, and he gets a yard is all. Each of them played quarterback at Fork Union, and first it was Testaverde, then it was Mikowski. In fact, Testaverde is the one who showed Don Mikowski around the school when Magic first got there.
And I asked both of them about their experience at Fort Union. I asked Testaverde first. I said, did you like it? He said, no, I hated it, but it was very good for me from a disciplinary standpoint. I asked Mikowski, I said, did you like it? He said, no, I didn't like it at all, but I didn't get any scholarships, and I wanted to get some recognition, so that's why I went there to school, but I did not like it.
Well, he had a good year. He was 8-0-1. Testaverde with the throw to Mark Carrier, complete for a big gain at about the 38. 16 yards.
First of all, it starts with good protection, but watch Carrier. He gets the defensive back turned to the inside, and there you see the break to the outside. Brown really didn't know where he was, and he's wide open on the outside. A very, very good move by Carrier, who sold the defensive back that he was going inside, got his knees turned, and then broke to the outside.
And that was his first reception of the day. They had thrown to him before, but that's the first one he's caught. Peebles in motion on 1st and 10. Testaverde looking for him again. It's picked off by Mark Lee. Interception number 2 for Testaverde, and Mark Lee's first of the year.
And it looked like they were playing a double zone, meaning they had a man short and a man deep. Now there's Lee looking into the backfield, playing a zone. There you see him. He's got a guy behind him helping him out, but he's watching the ball all the way, leaps high, catches it at the highest point, which you have to do as a defensive back, and comes up with a great interception.
There's Tim Harris putting on some pressure, but he didn't get there.
He didn't get off the ball very good. He was dancing around. You can't do that and rush the passer.
So Green Bay has it back, 1st and 10. Mikowski with time. He fires complete to Clint Didier, the tight end. And Didier's forward progress up somewhere ahead of the 45 before he's pushed back by Irvin Randall and Eugene Marr. Mark Lee in his 10th year out of the University of Washington.
And he was all smiles before the game when I talked to him, and he said, yes, I'm going to play. They didn't think I'd be able to play, but I'm going to play and play as long as I possibly can. Did a great job of coverage on the last play.
The pass to Didier gained 9 and a couple of feet. So it's about a foot to go on 2nd down.
This would be a good time for a play action pass. Nope.
It's a play action run, and Fullwood has the first down as he bangs across the 50-yard line. Packers have picked off 2 today, and check out the experience in the Green Bay secondary. 25 years between Brown and Lee and 38 years of NFL experience total. Compare that with Tampa Bay's secondary, and they're not too shabby. Robinson and Hamilton both coming out of Penn State, where they were teammates 6 years ago, but 1/2 the total NFL experience, 19 as opposed to 38. 1st and 10 from midfield. Fullwood Gets a block and gets about 5 to the 45 of Tampa Bay. Broderick Thomas on the tackle. Under 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Green Bay still leading 7-3. Philadelphia now with a field goal to lead the Giants by 10. Pittsburgh in front of Houston. A little payback in progress perhaps. And Atlanta has taken the lead over San Francisco under Jim Hannafin, the new coach. Rams still leading, and now New Orleans has come back to tie Detroit. Second down and 5. Play action. Mikowski dumps it off incomplete. Keith Woodside was in the neighborhood, but the Tampa fans want a flag. Kurt Jarvis almost got to Mikowski.
Now watch the play action fake. Watch the fake. This is a play action, but nobody pays any attention at all to the running back. If the running back does a good job of faking, he should be tackled in the hole. Nobody touched him, which meant that they had no respect whatsoever for the fake. And Jarvis got good penetration, number 95, wasn't concerned at all about the fake. So it was a bad mesh between the back and the quarterback.
Third down and 5, still at the Tampa Bay 45 from the shotgun. Flag down. Aubrey Matthews has enough for the first down before he's rolled back by Sherman Colcroft and Kevin Murphy. But a flag was thrown at the line of scrimmage, and it's against Green Bay.
You see, the quarterbacks have to be very patient with the defensive scheme of both teams. We'll listen to this a minute.
Illegal hands to the face mask. Number 51, 10 yards, third down.
And again, it's Blair Bush.
Middle of the screen now. Watch number 51, Blair Bush. He's got the hands inside. And it's very obvious that he's got his hands on his shirt and dumped him right to the ground, and there was definitely holding on the play.
It was a good takedown, though.
It was good. That's leverage. That's leverage, and he evidently had to be a good wrestler.
Green Bay with twice as many penalties and almost 4 times the yardage. The 10-yarder makes it 3rd and 15. Now from Green Bay's 45. Complete to Sharp. Sharp spins away and will be about a yard short of the first down. Fine effort as he gets to the 40 in the grasp of Harry Hamilton.
You talk about balance and great effort and determination on the part of Sterling Sharp, number 84. A slant pass to the inside. Look at this. He gets hit once. He gets missed by another would-be tackler. Finally got hit, and he's still squirming and fighting desperately to get as much yardage out of the play as he possibly can.
Green Bay takes a 40-second timeout, and 2:48 remain in the half. Well, next Sunday here on CBS, there'll be more NFL action, of course, as the season begins to wind down, and it begins with the NFL today at 12:30. Then you'll see either Detroit at Chicago, Atlanta at Minnesota, or Tampa Bay at Houston in the first game. And the second game of our CBS doubleheader, most of you will see the New York Giants against John Elway and the Denver Broncos beginning at 4 Eastern time. This guy's a great guy to talk to, Hank. We really enjoyed talking to Sterling last night. He really has tremendous personality, and yet he shies away from the media and the attention. He's not comfortable with us.
Well, the last time we had the Green Bay Packers, he really didn't want to talk to us, remember? Not because he didn't want to talk to us, but he didn't like the environment of having to talk about himself and talk about what he's accomplished in his career with the Green Bay Packers and also with South Carolina. Delightful guy, very bright, and expresses himself extremely well, doesn't he?
Tremendously articulate, and a great sense of humor, and very self-effacing about his great ability. Now a delay of game has been called against the Packers. They had called a timeout, and apparently they were unaware that the 30-second clock had started. Mikowski can't believe it. And instead of being 4th down and 1, it's 4th down and 6. And now the punting unit will have to come on. And Lindy Infante right over there to Joe Haynes, the line judge, to give him an earful.
And he can't believe it either.
So Bracken comes on and Willie Drury drops back to about the 10. Bracken with a high hanger, but it lands in the end zone for the touchback. A 46-yard punt with the wind at his back. We have 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half, and it is still Green Bay leading 7-3. So now Tampa Bay will have the ball back, 1st and 10 at their own 20, and the Packers may have missed a golden opportunity on 4th and 1. Who knows what would have happened, Hank?
Yeah, but they might have saved themselves from getting in trouble and given them possession.
Well, this is true. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, they haven't been running the ball very well. Either one of the two teams have run the ball very well. They're both passing teams, basically, and they've had a difficult time trying to run the ball.
Testaverde and the Bucs 1st and 10 at their own 20. I formation. Vinny with time, firing over the middle into a crowd and completing it to the tight end Hall rather, Ron Hall. Scott Stephen made the tackle. There's a couple of first-round picks, Broderick Thomas of Tampa Bay and Tony Mandrich of Green Bay, and neither one of them, Hank, are playing hardly at all except in special occasions, and they've sort of had a little commiseration between themselves and others of first-round picks who are not playing.
Yeah, they're very concerned about the fact that they're disappointed that they're not playing, but talking to the coaches, their respective coaches, both coaches say they're going to be great players and will play in the National Football League with these particular teams for an extended period of time. It just so happens that the timing and the situation is such where they can't use them at this particular time. And anytime that happens, you kind of wonder a little bit about the overall skill and ability of the people we're talking about.
Well, Ray Perkins told us on Friday that, you know, Broderick Thomas missing training camp hurt him a lot. And you hear the same story from Lindy Infante. Mandrich held out, didn't come to training camp. They both feel there's great potential there, but they did not feel that either guy had gotten enough work yet to be ready to play on a regular basis. So they're not ready to give up on either one of them. 2nd down and 5. Skip and incomplete, underthrown, intended for Stamps. Third down and 5. Been a lot of balls today that should have been caught that have not been caught. That one, however, was a one-hopper to Stamps. Tampa Bay has not had much success on 3rd down. They've converted only 1 of 6. Vinny under pressure is going to be sacked. Robert Brown and Scott Stephen inside the 20.
We'll see Brown, number 93, putting pressure on Testaverde. Here he is back, and he gets a little leak. He has to go to the outside. And now he gets the pressure right up the middle by Brown, who makes the tackle and the sack.
2-minute warning is upon us at the end of the first half here in Tampa Bay, with Green Bay still leading by 4. 2 minutes to go in the first half in a game that has been dominated by field position and the kicking game, some good and some bad. We'll have yet another punt. Chris Moore on to kick it away on 4th down and 13, and Jeff Query back for Green Bay inside his 40. Not a bad punt into the wind. Query over to take it and fumble it out of bounds at the 40 of Green Bay. A 43-yard punt. So the Packers will have pretty good field position. They lead 7-3 and 1:52 with which to work. Mikowski 11 of 21 for 127 yards and a touchdown. Testaverde is under 50%. Only 62 yards, no TDs, and 2 have been picked off by Green Bay. So Mikowski winning the individual statistical battle as well. That really, Hank, doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, the great thing about both teams, they like to throw the ball. They have a lot of confidence in their throwing game, and it doesn't make any difference where they are or when they're there. They're going to throw the ball.
Each team has 2 timeouts remaining in the half. Mikowski with time, firing and completing it to Query, who drives hard down to the Tampa Bay 40. Rod Jones with a coverage and a gain of 20 as Green Bay goes without the huddle. 1:35 remaining in the half. Out to Herman Fontenot. Fontenot out of bounds at about the 32 of Tampa Bay. Bobby Futrell bumped him out.
That time they had a 4-man rush, 7 people back. And a real good read by Mikowski that time, looking one way, throwing the other, trying to do the best he possibly can of trying to anticipate what the coverage is going to be, and then getting the ball to the right receiver. He's got 1.3 seconds to do all that. Not a lot of time, but both quarterbacks do an extremely good job of reading what they see.
1 minute and 18 seconds remaining in the half. Mikowski calling the play, and Tampa Bay's defense jumping around. Good protection. Knocked away at the last second. Intended for Jeff Query. And it was Jones again with the coverage, and this time a quick hand at the last second.
Here you see him going to the outside again. And a good move by Jones coming in there to knock the ball down and knocks it out of bounds. Good anticipation and good coverage by Jones.
So it's 3rd down and 2 yards to go. The ball at the Tampa Bay 31. 1:12 on the clock.
But again, it's interesting to see Mikowski. He invariably will escape always to his right.
He wants to be able to throw as long as he can, and he usually will throw it right before stepping out of bounds. Under pressure now. Gets it away, incomplete. And a flag is down. Mikowski is going to be called because Reuben Davis was putting the pressure on him.
And again, the interpretation of that is geared to what the official thinks is the appropriate thing for the quarterback to do. Was he trying to intentionally avoid a loss, or was there somebody downfield? In that particular case, there wasn't, and he, in his opinion, thought it was an intentional grounding because he was going to avoid a loss.
If you're not being pressured as a quarterback, you can throw that ball away all you want, but if somebody's chasing you, you better be throwing it to a receiver.
We have intentional grounding. Number 7, loss of downs.
Especially tough penalty, Henry, because they lose a down.
See, and it's obvious there's nobody there, you see, and so there's no argument on the part of Mikowski, really and truly, because the official, it's a judgment call, and the judgment of the official, he thought he was trying to definitely avoid a loss, and I think it was a good call.
Mikowski argues but has no argument. So Don Bracken comes on, and Jeff Query again goes back as the punts continue back and forth.
Let's see how he drops the ball this time and whether he puts it on his foot.
Hangs up there well and lands at the 5, and Green Bay had a chance to down it inside the 5. A 46-yard punt. Carl Bland, if he'd been looking in the right direction, had a shot.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Again, we'll bring you up to date of what else is happening around the league.
This right now is 4 plays.
Houston coming back against Pittsburgh. Atlanta still leading San Francisco at halftime. And Dallas has come back a little against the Rams. Kansas City in control. Not much scoring there. And at halftime, Brent Nerve will be along on the NFL Today with all the scores and the highlights. Latest information from around the league, so stay with us for Brent Nerve on the NFL Today at halftime. Testaverde has it knocked out, and a flag goes down after the play. Testaverde may be injured as he was knocked down by Robert Brown, and then after the ball hit the ground, a flag was thrown about the line of scrimmage.
It's just an incomplete pass. Second down.
Here we see Brown coming into the picture right on the inside. He was looking to his right. He really didn't see Brown coming from his left side, and right about the time he did see him, when he was too late, he took the shot.
An ineligible receiver. Second down in 10. 53 seconds remaining in the half. Draw play to William Howard, and what a play by Brown. Robert Brown playing off the block and grabbing William Howard by an ankle.
And Brown is not the biggest guy in the world for a defensive end. He's 6'2", 267, but he's very quick and agile.
42 seconds left in the half and a timeout on the field. Vinny Testaverde, of course, was a #1 draft choice, and in that same year Don Majkowski was also drafted, but there's a little difference in where they were picked. Vinny, of course, #1 pick in the '87 draft. Where's Majkowski? You got to go down to the 255th player selected to find magic.
The only thing important about that is, where are they now and what are they doing now?
Incomplete. Carrier tried to make a shoestring diving grab. Dave Brown was there, but he couldn't come up with it. So it's 4th down, and Tampa Bay will give it up.
Here we see Brown again, anticipating that time Carrier. The ball is thrown out in front. And again, Brown's amazing with that experience. He doesn't give you much room. Great anticipation, plays the ball very, very well. And it's hard to turn him.
Well, here in his 15th year, Hank, he's still playing cornerback, which is a real tribute to his ability.
Well, he's seen everything there is to see.
Chris Moore tries to drive it out of there, and he does. Jeff Query at the 38. Not much room, but a lot of white shirts, and he's dropped at the 42. 26 seconds remaining on the clock. A 43-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Broderick Thomas making the tackle, and it looked like Moore might have been run into here, Hank.
Well, I don't know whether they kind of rolled into him after they were on the ground. Yeah, I think that's really what happened. I don't think they really ran into him. I think he was on the ground.
Looked like Moore stepped on Tiger Green and then fell down.
Yes, and of course I think it was a pretty good acting job on the part of the kicker, which you have to commend him for too.
Yes. Well, they do attend that method acting school, I think. Part of being a punter. 26 seconds to go. 1st and 10. Cannon with the pressure on Majkowski. And incomplete, intended for Matthews, who juggled it out of bounds, chased by Sherman Colcroft. 19 seconds remaining on the clock. 7-3 Green Bay in the final seconds of the second quarter. Anthony Delwig, the rookie quarterback, signaling in, and Blair Keel is also there in street clothes, and they're both signaling. One is the real and one is the fake.
And Anthony did a good job when he had the opportunity against Detroit a couple of weeks ago. Remember, he got in for one play and completed a pass.
If he retired now, he'd have the highest completion percentage in the history of the game. 2nd down. Picked off. Ricky Reynolds with the interception. His 4th of the year.
That's a long throw into the wind. He's on the left side, really in the middle of the field a little bit, throwing to his right. Way over here on the outside, Reynolds anticipates the throw, looking at the quarterback, didn't have much on it, and comes up with the interception. But again, you got to have a lot of stuff on that ball. You really got to fire a fastball into the wind, especially across the field that far.
Now Vinny will have 12 seconds as Testaverde and the Bucs have it at the Green Bay 44. Throws it up, and it's almost picked off. Mark Lee, who had one earlier, almost had another one had he held on, Hank. It was a touchdown.
But again, the receiver that time didn't drive him back at all. He was able to stay in his back pedal and make the move off the back pedal and almost came up with the interception.
You see 17-year veteran Joe Ferguson, the backup quarterback for Tampa Bay, number 12, with the visor signaling in to Testaverde. 39 years old in his 17th year. It's like having an extra coach. Carrier, completion, out of bounds at the 30, and 3 seconds remaining on the clock. A 14-yard gain.
See, in that kind of a situation, you know, they got a 3-man rush, 8 guys back. There's one thing you can't do. You got to double the outside people so they cannot get the ball outside and step out of bounds to stop the clock. You think with 8 people they would have done that and make them throw inside, but he got the ball outside to stop the clock. That's amazing with 8 people back there.
So Igwebuike, although he'll be kicking into the wind, will have an opportunity. A 48-yard field goal attempt, but timeout is called.
And talking to him yesterday at practice, we talked about the field goal and the distances involved in the field goal, and he said, I never worry or concern myself with how far the kick is. I just keep my head still and kick the ball, because if I say it's a 50-yard field goal, it might sound like it's an awful long way, which it is. So I don't want to know how far it is. I just want to kick it.
Well, he kicked a line drive knuckleball earlier for Tampa Bay's only score. So they reviewed the play, that Carrier making the catch out of bounds, and it stands. And Igwebuike now, who has hit one from 53 yards for his longest of the year, will attempt a 49-yarder. It's up, it's drifting, and it's wide to the right. Time has run out, and that is the end of the first half here in Tampa. The Battle of the Bays. And the Packers maintain their 4-point lead. A second quarter, Henry, that was really dominated by field position, turnovers, and the kicking game.
Well, that's what usually happens, and it reversed a little bit in the second quarter, but there's still not much scoring, and they haven't taken advantage of the field position.
7-3 Pack at halftime.
Tough defensive game down in Tampa, but Green Bay usually waits till the fourth quarter before they decide to open it up. Let's, Irv, take everybody to the scoreboard and get them up to date. This is the big one in the NFC's Eastern Division, 17-7. It has been a battle of the turnovers. Buddy Ryan won the coin flip and said because of the wind, we'll go on defense. And right away, it paid a huge dividend. And on this lateral from Frizzell to Waters, that made it 7-0. Then Sims, and the ball seemed to get stuck on his glove through a horrible pass. Now I want you to watch this terrible tackle effort here by number 84, Zeke Moat. He didn't want too much of a piece of him. I'm sure he'll hear about that in the coach's films. Sims was upset, but he did come back with this pass.
Upset, and he comes right back, Brent, this time hitting Mark Ingram on a deep post pattern for a 41-yard touchdown and putting the Giants back in the game.
But then Giants had a chance to make it 17-14, and Meggett puts it on the ground toward the end of the first half, and so it stays at 17-7. And of course, the game you're watching right now, the big one as far as the NFC Central Division is concerned, until tonight when the Vikes play the Bears. And here is a big turnover. Brian Noble with a great effort for the Packers. Diving interception. and that set up the key combination.
Brent, here's a combination people in Green Bay know well, but the whole country is beginning to recognize it now. Bukowski to Sterling Sharp, 21-yard touchdown pass.
Irv, we featured Tim Harris in the pregame, and Dick Butkus told us about his great speed, but this is why he's lethal. A tackle doesn't know what kind of a move he's going to face. The power move, he runs right into him, and this time he steps inside and leads that sack charge against Testaverde. How'd you like to block him for a living on a Sunday? Cincinnati and Cleveland right now in the AFC Central. Bengals with the lead at the half. Houston and Pittsburgh. Houston came from behind to take a 14-10 lead. San Francisco and Atlanta. This would be the big surprise of the day. Nasty down in Georgia today. 10 degrees wind chill. Sensational catch here by Jerry Rice.
Boy, a great one-handed catch. Great concentration on his part. He's done that so many times, Brent.
All right, Deion Sanders says, Joe Montana, give me one pop fly to short center field. You're mine. And he's got it. No ego here. Just simply walks off the field. He'll accept all his plaudits later. Look at him. But he did set up a touchdown for him.
Pretty good looking play here. Chris Miller hits Ron Heller, a former 49er, on a deep post pattern here. He latches onto this pass for a 28-yard touchdown.
And Steve Young has gone in for Joe Montana, who entered the game with sore ribs. So a new quarterback for the 49ers in the second half. Rams and Dallas, and it is 14-10. Rams with the lead. That's next week. Hold on. We got to get this one done first. Nice fade throw here by Jim Everett. And the Rams move out 7-0. Everett to you-know-who, Irv.
A long bomb to Flipper Anderson. These guys have really been red hot the last few weeks. Anderson latches onto this 33-yard completion, setting up a touchdown opportunity.
You'd think he'd be exhausted after that game against New Orleans. This was the Cowboy touchdown. Darrell Johnston, the rookie, Syracuse out of the backfield, and it is 14-10. Other scores, and the Saints and the Lions are tied at 14. AFC, Kansas City, as many expected, doing a job on a Dolphins 16-0 at home, and tough defensive game in New England, 6-3. And we'll continue right after these messages from your local stations. Welcome back to our New York studio. As most of you know, President Bush and Soviet leader Gorbachev wrapped up their summit meeting today off the island of Malta. For a late report, let's go to Dan Rather.
Hello from Malta. Bad day yesterday, better day today. A cloudy evening here, but a clear message from President Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev. A new era has begun. Both said they had good, frank talks, addressed a wide range of issues from politics to economics, and built a personal relationship. The pair met the press together after the morning talks. That joint news conference a first.
This meeting accomplished everything that I had hoped it would. It was a no-agenda meeting, and yet it was a meeting where we discussed, as the chairman said, many, many subjects. So I think if a meeting can improve relations, I think this one has.
The new era calls for a new approach, and thus many things that were characteristic of the Cold War should be abandoned. Both of the stake on force, the arms race, mistrust, psychological and ideological struggle, and all that should be things of the past.
As the president was preparing to leave Malta, he noted how frank the discussions were. So frank, he said, that both sides now know for sure where they disagree.
There is no doubt in their minds that their assistance to Cuba and their lip service for the Sandinistas give us a considerable amount of difference with them.
Then he flew off to brief the NATO allies in Brussels, leaving behind memories of his sea travel in Malta that forced cancellation of last night's meeting and had some people calling it the Seasick Summit. It was a rocky sea, but a smooth summit finally resulted. The president and Gorbachev made progress toward economic cooperation, more trade for Gorbachev, and they made progress on treaties affecting long-range weapons. The two did less well on talks concerning naval disarmament and Central American conflicts. They expect to have some formal agreements out of all this when they meet again in the United States in June. The Soviets said last night these talks had been excellent, adding, "The Cold War is over." When asked today if the Cold War was over and the two nations were now friends, the White House officially responded, "We're friends." That's it for now. Dan Rather. Stay with us for the latest on the CBS Evening News with Connie Chung, and later, 60 Minutes. In the meantime, good day from Malta.
And right now, let's send you back to the stadium and the NFL game you're watching here on CBS.
Welcome back to Tampa Stadium, where the Green Bay Packers lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-3 at halftime. Steve Zabriskie along with the coach Hank Stram. And Henry, you said at the beginning of the game certain things were going to happen in order for this to be a close ball game. Well, it's a close ball game, and a lot of those things have happened. The win too has been a factor, as we thought it might.
Well, it really has been, and the other thing that's been a factor really is the fact that either team has done extremely well on 1st and 10. For example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have only averaged 1.3 yards per try running the ball, and I